Welcome back to Discussion Combustion, episode 66, not order 66 for all you Jedis out there. So we're going to keep it safe, keep it healthy. You know, it's still COVID times, but, you know, we're very honored tonight because we have another repeat guest. But this man here, John X, has actually, you know, been an inspiration, one of the foundations, I would say, in Denver for podcasting. No joke, man. So we're excited to be having you back in here. And, man, some crazy weather in Colorado. But once the weather does clear up, because there's still, you know, some nice days left, it's good to get outdoors, man. And we are brought to you by Wild Outdoor Adventures.
And that's WOAMEET.com. Guys, you've heard the spiel. It's free to sign up. It's got nothing to lose but your time. So head on over there, connect with others. It's an online outdoor activity community designed to bring people together. Hope for teens, hope for veterans, hope for singles. Great platforms, great profiles. Everything is on YouTube, social media. You can see what these guys are up to if you're a little bit unsure. You know, check out some of the hikes that they've done in the past. Kev does a great job at filming all of it. It's just a great way to meet people and get outside, you know. We just had a little bit of snow here in Denver, so that could be kind of alarming. But we still got some 80-degree weekends coming up, man.
Absolutely. And if you're not in Colorado, which probably the majority of y'all listening aren't, and you're planning on coming out and you're like to trek the trails, you want to get out there, this is the place where you go to kind of get some reviews. You could ask some questions, you know, so they have blogging. The website's easy to use as well, and that's less dreaming and more exploring.
DCPC is also brought to you by Mountain Made CBD. Head on over to mountainmade.life to stock up on all of your crystal clear CBD needs.
Absolutely. Mountain Made is your crystal clear CBD, like Kevin just said, and what that means is that they're just using pure ingredients, pure product, and the ideal and everything that they're doing is to make it easier for you. So when you go to mountainmade.life, make sure to subscribe, as in you can place your order, you know, what you want monthly. They'll do auto pay, auto ship. Take the whole thought process out of getting your crystal clear CBD products.
It makes it real simple, man. I got my orders in, so I'll have my Recover coming each month. You know, my Boost, those are my products. But you can't forget about your 50 milligram build, a little bit of that smokable puff. Guys, they're offering great products. And with the auto pay, auto ship feature that has just been introduced, discounted, you're getting these products just a little bit at a better rate. And it's out of sight, out of mind. Set it up. Get all your needs monthly. Shows up to your door. You don't have to worry about anything.
It's super easy. I had a couple boosts before I started. I'm feeling the electrolytes. And, man, we are excited. That's hashtag Go Like Hell.
Go Like Hell, baby. Let's jump into this thing. This is episode 66. We got the man. Mr. John X, John of All Trades podcast, guys. Welcome back, brother.
What's up, darling? You guys do that without a prompter. That was a lot of copy to read. And you're just ad-libbing it off the cuff like that? Yeah. You love these guys.
Oh, they're great, man. They're great. And we do no ad read has ever been the same.
That's fantastic. Well played. You've sold me. Where do I sign up? You told me I will listen to this episode back.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, that's the coolest thing about podcasting. I mean, we know you're a local podcaster, but just the connections that you kind of make over time. Like, you have people come in and talk to them, and it's really cool. It builds a network, and as far as the entertainment industry goes, I feel like the podcasting community is like open arms. Like, everyone wants everyone to succeed, and it's just been a great journey, man. And yeah, we're fortunate. And you got some stuff going too. Like, what was the company that you sponsors you?
4 Degrees.
4 Degrees has been with me from the beginning, dude. Like 6.5 years. So when you find the right partner as a podcaster, like we were talking about this right before we went on. You don't want your show to look cheap and shitty, right? You want it to be integrated. You want it to be a part of the show. And so like the fact that you guys actually believe in this and have a partnership is remarkable, because like I found 4 Degrees and they do incredible campaign work. So the number 4 DEGRE.ES, and he said when he first started that, old people had a real hard time like finding that site, because he's like, no, it's .es, and it's like, isn't that Spain? Well, you know more about the internet than most people. But no, like, so yeah, he got with me. He's like, you're connected to a bunch of people. You're interviewing entrepreneurs. This is a business development decision for me, and so I have one sponsor. So many people are like, hey, let's do MeUndies and Dollar Shave Club and Adam and Eve, and like every nickel and dime kind of like, hey, you know, use this this code at checkout and you'll get a certain amount off. And you go, no, that just makes your show look like an abandoned strip mall. You know, like you're circling a stadium with a big banner, you know, behind a plane. Like, no, put on a good show, have real partners, make something of it. and you'll look great. And so you guys, I've been really pleased to see the way you've done it, because you came to me early in your show, right?
Yeah, it was early.
Like, what number was I on your show last year?
24.
So yeah, you were 24, and I think we were episode 226 on yours. And I don't know if we've told the story on Discussion Combustion. I know you did on the intro to episode 226, where how we kind of met, and that was through House of Pod when we got hooked up with John Caroli. He's like, man, you got
Paul Caroli.
Paul Caroli, that's right.
Yeah.
And we were like, man, what's a good podcast, that we can link up with? He's like, you got to get with John, and that's kind of how we met you back in the summer of 19, I think it was.
Yeah.
So just about a year ago, just under a year ago.
Feels like longer, doesn't it?
It does, man. It really does, especially with everything going on.
Yeah.
Time is a flat circle. Seriously. Like, it feels like January was 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong?
I mean, I guess it depends on the person, because some people it's like flying by, but it's
those people have not been locked in their house with their kids.
True, yeah. Because it's like going through a groundhog. Because I'm working from home with my girlfriend, so it's like every day is the same, and it does kind of feel like a blink of an eye, but also it's like been a long blink almost.
There's just a lot of things that have happened, I feel like. So I don't know. I mean, I don't have kids, but I've heard similar things to that.
Any advice out there for all the parents?
For the parents locked in at the house?
What have you done to help keep your sanity?
The hardest thing is to remember that this is not going to last forever, because your kids are only this age. So mine are 4 and 5. Mm-hmm. They're very young. They're very sweet. They're very funny, and they're so deeply annoying. And so, like, seriously, kids that age are designed to just to ask you every question that comes to them. Dad, what are you doing? Why are you doing it this way? Where did you go? What's mom doing? Like, just shut up for a second. Like, literally, just quiet for a little bit. Remember that you're there, and the fact that you get this time with them is actually a gift. And so if you can actually enjoy yourself, if you can view it as a privilege, as something that you wouldn't get otherwise, where you're sort of putting your shoulder to the wheel and grinding, which we all do, if you can take a step back and go, you know what? No, I'm going to be present in this, and I'm going to accept this as a gift. Then it kind of becomes a little bit better, and there's always booze at the end of the day. Kind of like now.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, John, you brought some beers,
yeah,
man.
I mean, what a gift bringer, man. This man,
well, dude, okay, so
he brought us all some tall boys, so cheers to that.
Yeah, he did. Let's crack these bad boys.
Yeah,
Let's get into this thing.
So don't show up anywhere empty-handed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's
I mean, that's just solid advice no matter who you are. And so you show up. You guys were kind enough to invite me back on your show. So I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Like, and that's the funny thing. Do you ever get people who are nervous to come on here?
Yes, I would say that people,
and you have to like kind of coach them up.
Yep, and part of that, because obviously, as you know, doing podcasts, when that introduction, when they come into your home or wherever you're recording from, you're going to kind of banter a little bit. Okay, this is what we're going to talk about. This is what we're not going to talk about. You kind of get to feel them a little bit. But you're right. I mean, sitting down with a mic in front of your face, and in this case, we had a little bit of cameras around. Some people could react a little bit differently to it.
Yeah, dude.
Sometimes I get nervous.
So sometimes people will get nervous beforehand, or you'll get like, why do you want to talk to me? Like, what is it about me? Why would you possibly be interested in me? Who cares? Who gives a shit, right? Someone wants to talk to you about you, right?
Yeah.
Someone wants to have you on their show, and they think you're interesting enough to put that out to an audience. That's a gift. So I do public speaking coaching and presentation training as part of what I do in my day job. And I tell people, look, flip the script on this, because the number one fear of people is public speaking. Number 2 is death.
I know. When I was in college and did public speaking, that was one of the funniest things I always remember.
Yeah. Were you good at it? Did you like it?
Oh, I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you get up there, you have the opportunity to talk about, obviously you have an assignment or whatever, but you have the opportunity to talk about whatever you want. That is gold. That is not an obligation. That is not something to take for granted. The fact that anyone wants to invite you on here, I go, look at that as an opportunity and have a good time with it. Like, loosen up, be cool with it.
Yeah.
It's your chance to tell your story.
Yeah.
And so once you flip that script, and once you stop viewing it as something that you have to do, or you're obligated to do, or I'm on camera, what if I mess up? Not to sound like Tony Robbins here for you, but if you picture yourself doing a good job, you probably will.
Sure. Yeah, and I think everyone responds to it differently. I mean, being interviewed or being in that atmosphere, as you're describing, I want to say, I mean, going on your show, that was one of the first times that I've been publicly interviewed. You know, we did the first job series, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, right. I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, that's just a cool segment. I like how you do that with your podcast, because it's always like the Monday teaser. You know, whatever guests you have coming up, you get to know a little bit about their first job. Get that little teaser in there, and then the full ep drops on Wednesday.
Keep them hooked.
I like the way you do it.
Yeah, well, thank you for reminding me that I haven't done it in months.
Well, things are a little different right
happen,
now.
You know, things happen. Do people still get
Really,
first jobs?
go on, Art.
But no, I like your common theme that you have going on here, man, because you're saying, you know, with the kids at home, you know, look at that like a gift. You know, if you're having an opportunity to go talk to people, you know, look at that like a gift. So it's like, you know, change your perspective, change your life. And that's truly powerful advice and food for thought, you know, even just to start thinking about that and mowing that thought process through of, you know, because people get stuck in their mentalities, you know, people kind of get lost in their own train of thought. And if you can take a moment to acknowledge that there's other perspectives and try to see those perspectives, then you're going to change your outlook and your mood and your energy. I mean, I'm all for it, man. Change that perspective and then you could. The world's an oyster, you know?
Well, absolutely. What's that old saying? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change, or something along those lines. You know?
Well, I mean, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, though. The world is full of bullshit, right? The world is tough. So it's not a panacea, but it's one of the things you have control over. I mean, if you think about any job you have, the only things you have control over are your attitude, your work ethic, and your outlook. And so the more you can change that, the better things will be. And now, granted, you can't solve every problem that there is. There's a lot out there. And especially, what are we recording this? September of 2020? Mm-hmm. Pick a thing.
Fires?
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
point in a direction.
Yeah.
And something's probably fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That doesn't mean you have to be just this dour, grim, terrible, down in the dumps person forever. It means, like, hey, you know what? Change the things you can control. Mm-hmm. And work toward a better world in the ways like where you can contribute a little bit. Where you can't solve it maybe necessarily, you can do a little bit.
Sure.
So
yeah, I think just being engaged, you know, being involved and being engaged, those two things alone. You know, 'cause a lot of people are just like, I don't want anything, I don't want a part of it. Don't ask me anything.
No, dude, don't tap out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you gain nothing from that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I was looking at this graph of being failing opposed to being a failure. And it was a drawing, and failing it like was a guy walking, and then there was like a bump in the road, and you know, they came up to it and they had to adapt to get around that, and then they move around the bump, you know, and that's part of, you know, failing is you know, you fail and then you move on, you learn and take that as an opportunity, opposed to being a failure is you know, get to that crossroad or bump in the road and you kind of just stand there and look at it, and then you kind of stop and just stay there, and then you don't make any more forward progress because you're thinking that there's no other, you know. So I found that kind of interesting because there's always going to be issues, there's always going to be problems, and I'm always going to mess up something. Like I feel like I have a curse where like I have to mess up something before I get it right, and it's like almost like that every single time. And
at least you can own it.
That's just part of life, you know, is taking the fails and
roll with the punches.
You know,
well, dude, have you ever cooked? I mean, like the first few times you cook, you suck at it.
It's true.
Right? It's terrible. Like it comes out of the oven, you go, what did I even do here? What was this supposed to be? Yeah. It's like when you're trying to type something and autocorrect is like, I have no idea what this word even is.
I know, you got to like
what are you even going for?
Yeah. There's no suggestions at all.
Right. Yeah. And so you go, well, this was supposed to be an omelet, but I don't know where I went wrong. But you know what? You tinker with it, and eventually you got a pretty good breakfast. Mm-hmm. Like, just as long as you don't kind of throw it out and say, I'm no good at cooking.
I know, right? You got to keep trying. A couple Valentine's days ago, or years on Valentine's Day, I went to go make a shrimp scampi for my girlfriend, and I'd never make shrimp scampi before, and I was like gonna do like some garlic and like, you know, try to make it really good and like a little white sauce, and it was horrible. Yeah, it was like one of the worst things. It tasted so bland, and like no matter what I did, like I couldn't get it to taste good.
How did she react to it?
She was nice, you know, but we didn't finish it. Yeah, she was like, oh honey, you know, it's not bad, you know. But yeah, I could relate to
dude,
cooking
college,
some bad things, man.
Same deal. Valentine's Day, I was making this dish. It was like, it wasn't a casserole dish, but it was in like a baking dish, right? Mm. My mom had to buy me some wine because I was 20. Like, how weird is that? That, you know, you can't just buy a bottle of wine for cooking. Like, yeah, I'm going to get drunk off this sherry. Give me a break.
Right.
I'm a college kid. Like, give me the rubbing alcohol instead. But so it's like chicken and rice. I forgot to cook the rice beforehand.
Oh, no.
So I threw the whole thing in the oven. So basically, it was like having chicken with gravel, right? Because it's essentially uncooked rice. And so we couldn't eat it, but, you know, it didn't ruin the day. And at least you tried, right?
Yeah. Well, did you get the chicken out of there at least? You salvaged the chicken?
Christ, who can remember at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, how many years ago was that?
Dude, I was the master of microwaving the top ramen back in the college days. I mean, if you're a college student and you can't name every top ramen flavor out there, then there's something wrong going on.
Name them.
You got shrimp, you got beef, you got chicken, you got the spicy chicken, like the chili chicken. You got the roasted chicken flavor. You got, I said shrimp.
Yeah, shrimp.
That was first. Pork.
Oh,
Oriental.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's probably not a cool term anymore, right?
Oh yeah, we got to. Yeah, that's probably someone's gonna get upset.
Asian. What would you call it?
And then you forgot vegetable.
Oh, the
which
vegetable.
no one ever bought.
Yeah.
Because like vegetable flavor, you go, what is this? Like
what veggie?
The trick for ramen for me was you make this unholy concoction of a sauce to go with it. It's half soy sauce, half Cholula. So it's kind of Pacific Rim kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
So a little bit of Mexican flavor, a little bit of Asian flavor.
Spice.
Oh, it's delightful.
Well, that does sound good.
Ramen is still good. I mean,
I don't like it.
I mean,
What? Why not?
I think it's the consistency of whatever that noodle is. Is it even a noodle?
Yes. Well, allegedly, yes.
Allegedly, it's a noodle. It costs 3 cents, and I'm not really sure. You know, every time I eat it, it doesn't treat me right. I feel like I love the broth though. So
broth is nice.
You know, that salty broth, because I'm typically drawn to salty things, so I can get behind that. But the noodles to me are just kind of funky.
Are you overcooking them, or like they too soft, or?
No, I don't think I'm overcooking them, because I've done it both ways, where you eat it, you know, with just the noodles and the seasoning on it, and I've also had it as a soup. I mean, I've tried it both ways, and that could be taken into context if someone just heard that last bit of it, but it's just not my thing.
That's
No,
okay.
Kevin goes both ways. It's all good.
Yeah.
I would know. Trust me.
Yeah.
You guys have been spending too much time together.
Yeah.
Since COVID.
Yeah, no, you know, we're just buddies. Like, you know, if I were to have a male counterpart that was like a gossiping girlfriend, it would be Kevin.
Sure. Well, yeah, you guys are like Jay and Silent Bob. With, you know, you're like hetero life mates, right?
Exactly.
Something like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's fine. My hetero life mate is my best friend Jason.
There you go.
And so, like, my girl, I'm an only child. My girls refer to him as Uncle Jason.
Oh wow.
And so, like, that's it. He's as close as they're gonna get to having an uncle.
Yeah.
And so he's my boy. He's my best friend. He's my writing partner. That's it. And so, like, I totally get it. And it's funny when we take the girls out. So, like, me and him will just, like, drive up to Fort Collins with my girls if my wife is working or something. I go, it's really fun doing an ad for gay marriage with you. You know what I mean? Because that's what it looks like. You know, these two, like, these two dudes, these two, like, punk rock dudes with these two little girls. And so we're out walking around, we're going to restaurants and stuff. They're like, oh, look at that. That's nice. And I'm like, this is progressive, but not in the way that you think. Right? You guys are kind of missing this a little bit. We are progressive here because it's two, like, straight dudes hanging out, you know, with girls, like fatherhood and all that. We ain't gay, though.
Yeah.
A lot of people passing by might think you guys are homosexual, but you're just good bros, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that at all, man. And honestly, you know, if it's like, I mean, I grew up with an older brother, but he was 6 years older than me, so I didn't really have that connection with him growing up because the gap. And so, like, my friends, man, are extended family for me, and you almost need that, you know, like people need to have, because life is kind of cold, like you were saying, like which point in a direction there's a problem, but like, you know, if you can have somebody that you could depend on and trust, and it's harder to get friends as you grow older because you don't have time, and so that you can't. Invaluable, man. There's no value you could put on a solid friendship, man.
Family and friends make you the richest man. That's one of the lines that we sung back in the Ridge Runners, and I have a tattoo that says "Beyond Blood" because I truly believe that you don't have to be blood to be brothers.
Dude, I think that's really cool.
Really?
Yeah, no, like, and I mean, I sort of live that because outside of my parents, I'm not super close with my extended family. I don't have a lot of people in either direction close to my age. My cousin who's closest to me on my dad's side is like 8 years older than I am. Younger than me is on my mom's side, 18 years younger than me.
Oh, wow.
That's a huge difference.
So, like, I'm on this island here. So we would go out and do family stuff, and I'm just like this kid without peers. And so I always like identified with like I had to cultivate my own family, which is why I love like goofy shows and goofy movies. Like Parks and Rec is about ad hoc family, right? The show Community. Those people like in their dumb little community college created their own little family. Or you know, something like even a ridiculous movie like Fast Five, right? The fifth Fast and the Furious movie. Vin Diesel never shuts up about family in those movies.
That's true. He doesn't.
And it's all these people that he's kind of collected along the way.
Yeah.
And they're all just thieves and criminals.
Yeah.
Right? But they're all family. And that's all he talks about. So, like, I always identified with that a little hard. It's the family you make.
Sure.
And so, like, and Kristen brought that up. My wife, she's like, there's the family you're born into, right? That's your parents. That's your siblings. They'll always be your family. But then there's the family you make. And some people are loyal to the family they have. Some people are loyal to the family they make. Neither one is wrong, but it is a choice.
That's true.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So beyond blood, man, like I really kind of identify with that.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I get a lot of, you know, because people are always like, well, what does that say? And then I go into explaining it, you know, and, you know, some people are like, man, I kind of wish I had that kind of brotherhood. Or other people are like, that's cool, man, right on, like how you were. And it is, man, it's important. If I didn't have the people I have around me and the support and the brotherhood, I don't think I would be able to, you know, keep pushing on. I mean,
you wouldn't be the man that you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the truth.
I mean, we're like the outcome of our environment, you know, and it's interesting, man. Life is a trip, you know, because it's truly quick. You know, like 100 years, if you live that long, is like a blink of an eye, even in human history. And so it's interesting because you have to, I mean, that's what makes it precious, is like that time isn't unlimited, and that, you know, every little moment, if you're changing your perspective about things and you're appreciating the moments that you're in, then like that's heaven on earth. And my mentality is like, if you can appreciate everything, like even on my worst day, man, like my problems are trivial compared to somebody else's in another country. Like on my worst day, like I'm still blessed, you know. And it's important to kind of just have that perspective and you know, take time to appreciate the people around you. Last week, Brant was saying it, but like this really kind of struck a chord, and I was thinking about it. It takes some time to be nice to people, you know, and
Dude,
think about that, you know.
Just like that's a choice. Just choose to be nice to people. And so it's funny that you say that. You said heaven on earth, and it reminded me of something Penn Jillette said once. He's an atheist, and he burns a lot of calories talking about why he's an atheist. And he just like he never shuts up about it, right? And so it's like, fine, be an atheist, but you're like an evangelical atheist at this point, right? But someone asked him, you know, don't you want to get to paradise? Don't you want to get to heaven? And he goes, I think we actually live here. I think this is paradise. I think we've been gifted paradise. I think we live in heaven. So am I going to use a Vegas metaphor, bet on the come line to get to a place better than this? Or am I going to maximize my time here? And that's not to say he's right as an atheist. It's not to say you're wrong if you believe there's a paradise or a heaven beyond what we know in terms of human comprehension. But it is to say, value what you have because your consciousness is now.
It's true. And
so, like, what else can you do? I certainly hope there is life beyond this. I don't know, but I'm going to treat every day as a gift. So,
yeah, I try to live the same way, man. I really do. We had a good friend of mine that I worked with, Chris, on a couple weeks ago, and you know, he came on, talked a little bit about Christianity and the importance of that in his life, and wanted to share that with others. And you know, it's just interesting how people have different perspectives on you know, this life, the afterlife, their relationship with God, whoever they pray to. You know, for me, it's never really been an organized thing. You know, I grew up around a little bit of Roman Catholicism. I've been to church. You know, had religious friends.
Did you go through like confirmation and all that?
I didn't do that, no.
Oh, I actually did.
Did you really?
Not Catholicism, but I was raised Methodist, so I was confirmed and all that. But like the weird thing for me, and it's odd, I've never talked about this, but every time I went to church, I never felt anything. Like you're supposed to go there to feel inspired and like, you know, like get in touch with God and all that. I just never felt that. And it was weird for me. And it's not to say I'm not Christian. I don't know what I am exactly.
I feel the same way. I feel like
I feel like it's an unknowable thing. And the people who feel touched when they go to church or when they practice their religion, man, that's beautiful. Good for them. Like I never had it at that moment or in that place.
Yeah.
Where I get it honestly is and this is gonna sound like stoner-esque, but is looking at the trees, and I've said this 1,000 times, but or like looking at the stars, because like the stars are timeless. If you think about that, you know, like I'm sure the constellations were somewhat similar, you know, a couple million years ago, and so like if you look up to that view, it's like looking at a timeless view, and in that moment, that's where I kind of feel like, you know, like you could take a deep breath and you could appreciate that and kind of feel the energy, because I don't believe in one religion, but I do believe in, you know, in essence, like an energy that people can tap into that is going to propel you forward and help you with perpetual energy, like where it doesn't take any energy to you know, be nice to somebody. Like it almost fills you up, and it's you know, you got to take time to appreciate that stuff, or else, you know, it could just skip you by, or you get caught in the whirlpool of negative thoughts.
Absolutely. You got to stop and smell the roses, they say, right? For me, it's just, you know, I don't really know what I believe. Once I got in the mindset of day to day, you know, this is what I have to do to get to tomorrow. This is what I got going on this week. You know, just being busy with all the different tasks. It is, but that's kind of like where I live a little bit. Is, okay, here's what's going on today. Tomorrow, I'll worry about what's going on tomorrow.
Yeah, it's hard, man. And so, Art, to your point, me and my family took a road trip like a month ago, and we were at Arches National Park. I'd never been there. Have you guys been to Arches?
I haven't been, no.
Okay.
I know the national, I haven't been there,
so it's just outside Moab, just, you know, a couple hours over the Colorado-Utah border. And Arches was one of the most beautiful places I've been on earth. And it's really like car friendly. So like in terms of COVID and, you know, like what we're going through, it's kind of a great thing to do because you can stay socially distanced. It's really fun, and it was breathtaking, and it just put me in my place, you know, like in the best way possible. So you're looking at these unreal geologic formations, and you go, how? Like, how does this happen? And you feel connected to the earth. You feel connected to your fellow people. It's amazing, dude. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is. Nature always grounds me. You know, even during all this, my girlfriend and I got away to an Airbnb up in Fairplay at just this remote cabin in the middle of nowhere, sits on 160 acres, and just sitting out there every night with solar powered, you know, just completely off the grid.
Wow.
Sitting there seeing the stars, just being in the middle of nowhere with animals around. It really hits the refresh button for me, you know, really resets the mind and the body and soul for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you can get away from your routine, anytime you can experience something new and see the beauty that's out there. I mean, what a gift, dude.
Absolutely.
So kind of to, you know, it's somewhat of a segue since we're talking about the outdoors. So if you had to pick,
oh Christ, here we go.
If you had to,
I remember your show.
Yeah, it's you know, we got to keep people on their toes, but so would you rather spend a night in like a super luxury hotel, like all the amenities? You know where I'm going with this, or would you rather, like, you know, go camping and you know, have a beautiful scenery of the world? Like what if you know, one or the other?
I feel like there's a similar would you rather that you asked John the last time.
No, well, sort of. And granted, I have 2 young kids, so my brain is fried. So
fair enough.
I'll never remember that anyway. As a city boy, I'm taking the hotel.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's and so here's the other deal. Like if I get a night away in a nice hotel, in a nice bed with a great night's sleep where I'm not getting woken up, my older daughter wakes up like a CEO. Literally
5 a.m.
every morning. It's like 6:15 in the morning. She comes out, she's fully dressed. She's probably already made her bed. And she's like, all right, what are we doing today? And I'm like, sweetie, it is so
We're
early.
making coffee first.
We're going to watch a show for a minute. You're going to eat some Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which is her biggest, you know, she loves that more than anything right now. And we're going to figure it out here in an hour and a half. All right? So just give daddy a minute. If I could be in a hotel where I get a great night's sleep, I'm not going to sleep well outside. I'm not a camping guy.
Yeah.
Luxury hotel, late wake up, dark windows, no wake up call from a toddler,
comfy bed.
I don't have to turn on My Little Pony or Doc McStuffins or the Muppet Babies Revival.
I don't even know what those are.
Which
Muppet Babies Revival.
Dude, they're making a new one. They're 2 seasons into it. It's exceptional as far as kids go. kid shows go. But I'm grading on a curve here because I am knee deep in all of these shows. I'm taking the hotel every day.
Yeah.
It just depends on where I am, I feel like. You know, I love being outdoors, like I just said, and doing camping and stuff like that. But I do love a good hotel, man. You know, being on vacation in a nice place, nice view, especially if I'm looking at the ocean. I'm definitely going to take that over a camping scenario, looking at the ocean. But I would say 60% of the time I'm going camping.
Yeah. I had a feeling Kevin was going to go outdoors. I'm definitely going to go hotel all day. I mean, you know, obviously growing up, camping was so much fun to go like hack some wood and do the fire. Like that's so much fun to do. But, you know, as I keep growing older every year, like glamping makes more and more sense to me. And, you know, I've been kind of looking into like getting one of the little trailers to tow behind the Mountaineer and like.
Oh, dude, get in line.
Yeah.
Like, literally everyone on Earth is getting one. We went to get a bike rack because we wanted our girls. So we went to Glenwood, Arches, Salt Lake City, and Park City because like we have people in all those stops pretty much. And we were looking into a bike rack. You can't buy bike racks now. Everyone is buying camping gear, buying outdoor gear, buying bikes. Like that's what you do in this time. And so we made it work. We just stuffed their 2 little like princess bikes in the back of the SUV and made it work. And so they were able to ride their bikes wherever we went. It was great.
That is awesome. But yeah, people are buying the shit out of stuff right now.
They are, man. I'm kind of wondering why. I mean, other than guns, because I've stocked up on guns this year. I'm in on a lot of outdoor shops, you know, buying ammo and stuff and accessories. And you're right, the fishing department is depleted. The sleeping cots depleted. A lot of stuff is depleted. Why are so many people getting outdoors all of a sudden?
Why? Because that's what you can do. There's shit
nothing
else to do. Dude. Like, so the biggest thing I miss, and I hate talking about the before and after time, so we're going to have to cut this part short because otherwise I'm going to get super bummed. When we talk about the before times, the thing I miss most, like, I'm old punk dad here at this point, right? And so the thing I would use my time, like, you build capital, like, how much time do you have? I would go to punk shows. I'd be at the Gothic, I'd be at the Ogden, I'd be at the Bluebird, I'd be at the Summit, the Larimer, wherever it was, just seeing punk bands, seeing ska bands, seeing live shows. And that is going to be the last fucking thing that comes back.
I know, man.
Did you have...
like, and you know that as being in a band, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And so that just bums me out intensely. Like going to see live stand-up comedy or going to see live pro wrestling, like whatever it is, going like that live experience with people. That's going to be the last fucking thing to come back fully.
It's the last thing to be integrated for sure. I mean, Denver just, the Broncos said, what, 5,900 fans for the end of September?
Yeah.
That's literally nothing.
What was it, seat 50,000 or something?
Oh, I think
70.
76,
Okay,
something around there.
number.
Yeah.
You know, NASCAR's been doing like 20,000 and 150,000, you know, capacity.
Oh, dude,
crowds.
those stadiums are huge.
Massive. So, yeah, I mean, live entertainment, you know, Red Rocks, all the venues that I love going to. You're right, that is the last thing. And Brant was saying last week with stand-up comedy, you know, how that is starting to come back. The way that they're social distancing tables and sanitizing and doing all the stuff. You know, it's interesting how with the mask ordinance, you can walk into an establishment to get something to eat or drink. You have to have your mask on until you get to your table. Then you can take it off. If you get up from the table, you got to put it back on.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
I'll play by the rules. I mean,
no, that's fine. And so I went to one event. It was Lucha Libre and Laughs. Give them a quick plug because they're local. They're awesome. And it's pro wrestling and stand-up comedy. And they did a great job in the Oriental Theater. By the way, I can't believe it's still called the Oriental Theater. Again, like, let's come back to that.
To the ramen flavor.
Yeah. They should really have that as a dish. Just, like, let's get this all sort of in one place. But they did an amazing job. So, like, everything was spaced out. You had to have masks on, like, when you weren't. But once you got there, I felt great just booing, you know, the heels and cheering the faces. And, like, you could laugh and you felt comfortable in there. And everyone was really cool about it, too. Like, I don't get these conspiracy theory anti-mask dipshits. Because it's like, the sooner we all kind of do this, the sooner we all just do this, we'll be done. Like, it's over. It's over in other parts of the world. And the more that we can do that, the sooner we all kind of get back to normal.
Yep. And let's do that. Let's get back to normal, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to go to a football game, go back to a NASCAR race. I just had to move my NASCAR tickets for the championship race this year that I'd purchased almost a year ago.
Where were you going?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, geez. All right.
That's where, and that's obviously a hot spot and stuff. And
dude,
they are allowing fans, but limited. So I'm not even gonna mess with that. I just said, put me to next year. I'll be back.
Yeah.
You know.
So John, did you buy any tickets for shows, and like, did you get refunds, or did anything happen like that for you? Or
Oh, dude. Okay, so my wife turned 40 this year. In April, we were supposed to be in New Orleans, and so plane tickets, Airbnb, like we were able to get credits for it. We're on. I'm not going to say the name of the airline, but it rhymes with Frontier, whose refund policy is not great. So they said, you don't have to travel within 90 days, but you have to book within 90 days. So we go, you really, like, we're going to be in a place where we know we can travel in the next 90 days. Okay. So we booked something for our anniversary. Yes, we had tickets to Rockies opening day. We had tickets to spring training. We were in Arizona when the NBA shut down. We landed in Arizona that day.
Oh yeah.
And so then everything shut down. That was like the first domino to fall, right?
I remember
it was
that
Rudy
night.
Gobert.
It was like March 10th. I want to guess.
March
NHL
11th.
was after
Oh, I was
that,
You
right?
were so close.
I was close. We were recording. I remember looking at my phone. The NBA announced it.
Yeah. So we were in a restaurant, and we go, and we're in my mother-in-law's 1,500 square foot house. And then all the pools are shutting down, all the rec centers are shutting down, all the spring training games, all the playgrounds. And we go, what are we going to do with these kids for the next 5 days? And so, like, that's when it became real for us. And we got to look forward to getting on a plane. Like 5 days later.
Yeah.
We go, oh, boy, okay. Ultimately, everyone was fine. Everyone was healthy. Everyone, was great. We made it work. But, man, yeah, so we got refunded a bunch of stuff at that point.
That's good.
Now, when you hopped on the plane 5 days after, so like March 15th, 16th, whatever that was,
Yeah.
was that when the airline started saying you have to wear a mask to fly, or was that still a little
Not
before
yet,
that?
dude.
Okay.
No. That came later. And so no one was in masks, but the plane was like half full, like less than half full.
People were like, I'm not flying.
Yeah, and everyone like had their wipes with them. Like everyone had Clorox wipes. So the entire plane, you walk in, first of all, and it smells just like Clorox wipes.
Yeah.
Cleanest it's ever been.
Yeah. And so you sit down and you go, and it was like flying in the 80s or something because it was like empty. I go, this is like luxury. So all in all, it could have been worse. Mm-hmm. And we were just happy to get home after that point, though.
Yeah, because I mean, what if this plane stopped flying and then you're stuck somewhere else and like you're not prepared?
Yeah,
for
like
that,
we're gonna have to rent a
prolonged
car
time and
Drive.
to drive like the many hours back up to Denver from Phoenix.
That's a long drive, man. Arthur and I actually did that back in
16 hours,
2011.
wasn't it?
We flew down. I bought a car
Excuse me.
for my brother at the time, and we did that road trip back. And man, by the time we hit Pueblo, I was hallucinating because we did it straight through. We left at like 4 in the morning.
Dude, wow.
Yeah.
That's too long. I drove back from Vegas one time, and that's like 11 hours.
Yeah.
And like, there's that whole stretch in Utah where it's like no services for 110 miles
There's
or
like
whatever.
4 or 5 signs leading up to it, like,
it
hey,
gets
you guys
risky.
better be prepared here.
It's
Totally.
risky.
Yeah.
And you're going, I mean, through there, like what cop is going to patrol there, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going 110 miles an hour through there, right? I mean, tell me you didn't.
Oh yeah, we were cruising.
And so like you're moving, but when you're driving that fast, it takes a level of concentration.
It does.
That really takes it out of you.
It does. And you nailed it.
It's the smallest little jerk. I mean,
Oh, dude, you
Game
feel
changer.
it.
Yeah, game changing. 11 hours is my threshold. I'm good for 10 and a half hours because I do here to Kansas City for the race. I've done that a few times. 11 to the 15-hour mark, I'm starting to see trees growing out of the road. There's things that aren't really there. I start to hallucinate.
Well, I do trucking, and that's one of the regulations is you get 10 hours.
Is that where they
of
shut
drive
them
time? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kansas City, it's funny. Do you take 70 out there?
To where?
To Kansas City?
Yeah, KC, 70 all the way.
Okay. So, you know that part in Kansas where there's nothing for like 50 miles in either direction?
Yes.
But like one porn store?
Oh, yeah.
Like you've seen that
Yeah, it
place?
sits right up off like an exit there.
Yeah, dude.
Big old adult lion, something rather.
Yeah, it's up on the ridge.
Yeah.
And so you're like, wow, there's not food or gas, but there's like erotic novelties.
Oh, yeah.
So
You can stop and get yourself a little bit of that, spank bank stuff, and then the next exit down, you got Praise Jesus.
right.
And that's Kansas.
And that is in fact Kansas. Yeah. And what's so funny is like, if you work there, don't forget your lunch that day. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to be ponying up for just edible panties probably. Like that's going to be the only...
I have a stomach ache all of a sudden. like eating it doesn't taste like fruit roll-ups, people.
That stuff's terrible. That's a good point, though.
But like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Because there's not like an Arby's nearby.
There's nothing.
But yeah, no food, no gas, but an adult novelty store in Kansas, and you go, wow, okay, I cannot wait to get off 70 here.
Yeah. Yeah, you really start to wonder where you're at in Kansas. I mean, it's that whole state. I mean, I love going out there. There's great people. I love Kansas City barbecue.
Oh,
there is
dude.
a stretch of mileage on 70 that we're describing that is, you just don't really know what's going on.
It's like between Lyman and like Hayes,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yep.
And so, yeah, no, that whole stretch, I love Kansas people too. Like my wife's family's from Kansas,
Really, whereabouts?
Wichita.
Okay.
So, and then she has family in Springfield, Missouri, which, so, you know, you fly into Kansas City and it's like, what is that, 2.5 hours?
Something like
to have
that,
it?
yeah.
It's not bad. What's your barbecue spot in Kansas City?
Jack Stack.
Jack Stack, yes,
The
dude,
original,
that's mine too.
The original location.
Okay, wait.
Because there's one in Overland Park, which is like southeast or southwest Kansas City.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the original spot is downtown Kansas City.
Yeah,
Mo.
but like it's weird. It's like there's like highway overpasses and
Yep,
stuff. That
yep.
yeah, no. So I've been there.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Stack, I've been there twice. That place
I
rules.
love it.
I've never been, guys.
I love it, John. Every time I'm there, I got to hit
wanna
it.
get it.
Art, you're missing out because the best part about going to Jack Stack in Kansas City is I think this is written somewhere on the back of the menu. There are everyone in there is like 150 pounds more than you will ever weigh. Like when you go to Middle America, it's amazing. The people are enormous, and you walk in, you go, I've never felt small in my life, right? And so it's and the food is just outrageously good.
Oh,
But
it's
the
so
food's
good.
great. Your ego's higher. You're like living,
It's just a
living
great
in the
time.
life out there.
Dude, and Kansas City's an underrated town, I think.
I agree with that. I would maybe live there, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty well dug in here at this point.
Yeah,
But like Power and Light District is really fun to hang out in.
sure.
Went to the Negro League Hall of Fame. Like I'm a big baseball guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Negro League Hall of Fame is right there, and it's connected to the Jazz Museum. So like, there's cool stuff to do.
Absolutely. Best NASCAR track in the country, hands down. I've been to
Really?
almost all of them. Kansas Speedway has it going on.
Well, what makes that one
yeah,
so
why?
great?
What makes it the best? In my opinion, of course, there's a lot of NASCAR fans who are going to say, well, what about Daytona? What about Bristol? I
What
love
about
those tracks.
Talladega?
What about Talladega? That's been rated the best party track for sure. I haven't personally been to Talladega, but Kansas Speedway is 1.5 miles, which is like our cookie cutter kind of. This is the stationary track that we race on primarily in the playoffs, and it covers all your bases. It's fast, it's high banks, it creates a lot of wrecks, which some people are into. You know, if you're watching auto racing, the food's tremendous, the beer is cold. Kansas Speedway just has it figured out, man.
Nice.
I've been to a lot of tracks. I always have the best experience there.
What's the crappiest one?
That I've been to? Ooh, that's a good question. Probably, man, I've been to some fun ones. Texas was fun, Phoenix, maybe Dover, Delaware, I feel like.
Okay.
Yeah, Dover, Delaware was a little bit weak sauce, but
If I can quote Wayne's World for a minute. Hi, I'm in Delaware. Do you remember that? Like,
I remember Wayne's World.
they're doing the chroma key. Where
Oh,
it's-
yeah, yeah.
Where it's like, hey, we're in New York. I'm in New York. I got a gun. Let's go to a Broadway show. Or maybe you'd like to go Hawaii. Mukalakahi. You know, so they're doing the whole thing. And it's like, or maybe you'd like to go to Delaware. Hi, I'm in Delaware.
Yeah, I've never been to Delaware.
Really?
I've never been.
I haven't either,
I
but-
haven't been to the East Coast.
No
you know.
disrespect to any of the good people of Delaware.
Yeah,
Sure.
Of course.
There's some nice people there, I think.
You know, it's just
I would hope so.
The Western mindset calls me though. You know, like it's something about like the Cali vibe, like the Oregon vibe. You know, I'm getting pulled to the West if I want to go a place. Like the East is so busy, man, and like you know, people are fast out there,
Very
and,
fast.
and
Aggressive.
It's just you know, I get pulled to the Western mindset, man.
Dude, I'm kind of with you on that because I went to Portland, Oregon the first time so let me think. This was right after Grace was born. This was like my 34th birthday. And I'd never been there. But you know when you go to a new town and you go, it feels like I've been here before. Mm-hmm. Like this town just makes sense to me. It's laid out in a way that makes sense to me. It's intuitive. I kind of get the vibe. Like I know what's going on. I went to Portland and I go, this is my town.
I loved Portland. I went out there during COVID to go work there for a week because when else do you get an opportunity to just you know not take any PTO and just go to another place and still
Hell
work?
yeah, dude.
Man, and the vibe out there is just so chill, and it's not too humid, but you get you know more of that in the air, and the greenery is so beautiful off the
Yeah.
Columbia River Gorge, and I loved it out there, man. It was I feel that vibe, like it felt like home.
Did you happen to make it to the Multnomah Whiskey Library?
I did not.
Oh, dude. Multnomah Whiskey Library. I'll show you a picture once we're like done with this. But it's a wall of just all different whiskeys, and then they have all different booze too. And then your waiter is phenomenal. And so like I ate bone marrow there. Like, it was exceptional. It was one of my favorite places. It feels like an old place too, right? So like Corinthian leather, and then like those green lamps, you know, like the desk lamps, like you'd picture
It's
in a really
the
fancy
stained
library,
glass kind of
but
green
like
lamp.
yeah, but like green glass, like that's about yay long.
Okay.
And so like go there, and it feels like some rich guy's den, right? And so you go, I could drink whiskey here all day. And we did.
Oh, I forget the name of the brewery, but it was something River, Forest River Brewery or something. It was like right on the Columbia River Gorge, and it was outdoors. We were wearing like rain jackets. It was slightly raining. No one else was there. And we were just, you know, having some IPAs, just chilling. We had like little umbrellas, staying warm next to each other. But it was just so cool watching the weather blow in and like seeing how like the scenery changed. Like it'd be every 3 minutes it would look different.
Okay, are you guys down for me to indulge in like my favorite morning that I've done twice now?
Yes.
Okay, so in the morning you go to Blue Star Donuts. Blue Star Donuts it blows voodoo donuts out of the water.
And this is a favorite morning in Portland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, favorite morning maybe anywhere.
Okay.
So like if I could do this 4 times a year, I'd be thrilled. So you go to Blue Star Donuts, you get, I think it's blueberry bourbon maple donut. It's outrageously good. Then you go to Powell's Books. So Powell's Books is a full city block, and it's like if you like reading, if you like learning, if you like just walking around and people watching, it's phenomenal. The books are cheap. It's spectacular. Then from there, you go down the street to Billy Galaxy Toys. It's this vintage toy shop, buy and sell. Like you can find figures from the old original real original Ghostbusters cartoon show. You remember that on Saturday mornings? I bought old WWF action figures there. I bought Wizard of Oz action figures there. It's outrageous. And then you go over to Bailey's Tap Room. So some of the best craft beer in Portland. It's right there. And then right nearby is this Mexican restaurant that I'm forgetting the name of, but you can order in right to Bailey's Tap Room. Ooh. So it takes you from about 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is the best 4 hours you will spend in Portland. It's my favorite morning.
It does sound very relaxing.
Keep that in mind. I've never been to the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, dude, so you'll dig it, man. Like, what a great vibe. Like, cool people. Portland and Seattle is seeing some unrest,
right now,
given what's going on in the country. But from what I understand, if you're watching cable news, you're doing yourself a disservice because it's kind of overblown the way they're covering it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's, on a broader spectrum. I mean, just the propaganda hysteria that is put, in front of everybody every night in the nightly news is a big issue that we could probably, go on about for a while.
I don't think that's in the spirit of what we're trying to do here.
Sure.
But, I would say in terms of like getting engaged, I deleted both Facebook and Twitter off my phone, and I'm much happier for it. And so it's easy to get involved in, no matter where you are or who you are, get into an echo chamber that is ultimately going to be very detrimental to your happiness and your way of life.
Yeah, you're now the, I think, 3rd or 4th guest that we've had recently that have said deleting Facebook, Twitter, and social media from their phone, or even just taking the time out from it, has been one of the best decisions they've made of 2020.
I feel great about it. I still have it. I'm not thoroughly disengaged.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just spending a lot less time on it. So, like, if you can limit the amount of intake, and I'm kind of rationing my news intake, because it's easy to do a lot of it.
Well, I like the saying, call it an echo chamber, because it's like basically the same thing every single day, the same memes, the same content. Like, I mean, I've kind of struggled going back and forth with Reddit and just because, it's the endless scroll. It's so easy to get addicted to that. But like
doom scrolling.
What is the value there actually? Like what is actually helping develop me as a person? Like, what am I gaining from doing this? And anytime I've ever done that, I like switch it to world news and then just scroll for like 10 minutes and kind of catch up on what's happening.
Sure.
Because honestly, everything else means nothing.
Okay, so you guys have a Patreon, right?
Yes.
That is that's awesome. because you're allowing people to like support the things that you love. So I subscribe to news outlets that I think are good, that are doing quality work. And I also so for my birthday, my wife got me a subscription to Defector. Defector is everyone from Deadspin who quit en masse. Do you guys remember Deadspin.com?
It sounds familiar, but I don't think I'm real familiar with it.
Okay, so sports blog site, doing great work. I support them. I gave money to a site called Stereo Gum. They do music reviews. Like, support the things that you love.
Sure.
And people doing good work. Like, go directly to the source. Mm-hmm. And the more that you can do that, the happier you will be. Because it's like, look, this is the art I care about. These are the people creating the things that I think add value to the world. And that matters. So do that with your dollars. Like, vote with your dollars in that way. Instead of, like, getting the endless conveyor belt of doom from the social media sites, if you give money to the sites, you will go to those sites more often. And I love that.
That's a good point.
I think that's cool. And, like, anyone who is supporting this podcast on your Patreon is a beautiful soul, and I appreciate them.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice of you to say, John.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, for real. You guys are real people. Like, making this show, like, out of the goodness, like, you have something that you want to say. You have things, like, you want to put this into the world. And the fact that people are willing to support that, dude, that's beautiful.
It is, man.
awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Tremendous support, man. I mean, Kevin and I, like, it's just, you know, friends having a conversation. But, you know, there's that disconnect because of social media and things of that nature where, like, you have friends and you get likes, but you never talk to anybody.
Followers or whatever.
Yeah, you never actually get to connect with anybody there. Yeah. And so, I mean, just to, you know, sit around and talk with friends and talk with you and, like, I mean, it's been a blessing, man, just to get to know people because that's honestly what we want to do is just relate, you know?
It's brought more joy since we got into the podcast world. I've had more fun spending Wednesday evenings or whenever we decide to record, sitting down and having real conversations with people that enlighten me on topics. We share different opinions, whatever it is. I think a lot of people have gotten disconnected from that. I mean, there's tools with Zoom and things like that to bring it, but there's something about being intimate and sitting down at a table and having a beer, you know.
And great beer, by the way, man. You picked out.
How we doing here?
Oh,
this
man,
one's good, man.
These are delicious, actually.
This is the Great Divide
American Lager.
Pale Ale.
John knew exactly what I wanted. Yeah. It's delicious.
Yeah, no. So Great Divide, old school, like Denver craft brewery. Been around since the 80s, I think. If it's longer than that, I'm doing them dirty. But, yeah, so lager. Denver Pale is one of my favorites.
So it says 25 years on this can right here. I don't know if that's how long they've been around or not. But
okay, so what does that put up? 1995?
It says 1994 right here, too.
Okay, that makes sense. And then I've got Bell's Two Hearted. And
he's drinking that heavy 7%er.
That hitter.
So this is consistently rated as the best beer in America.
Really?
By, like, beer dweebs everywhere, right? So, like, Beer Advocate or, you know, whatever, like, the rating sites are. Ratebeer.com. This is an IPA. It's fantastic. It's out of Michigan. And we only recently got it out here, I would say, within the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, no, I'm going to bring the quality because that's what it's about, man. Like,
cheers.
Don't show up empty-handed.
Yeah, that's
something my mama told me, you know, when I was a little young and growing up going to gatherings, you know. So last time you were here, you were going to go to the Oktoberfest, the beer fest.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because it was early in October when we did the show.
Right. Yeah, Great American Beer Fest.
And do you think they're going to do anything like that this year?
No, it's canceled this year.
Yeah, God.
Everything seems like it's canceled.
Dude,
LA
everything's
just
canceled.
LA just said no trick-or-treating, which isn't a surprise.
Yeah, I read that too. And it seems like there's got to be a way to do trick-or-treating.
I saw one where it was kind of funny. This guy had, like, you know, a hamster, you know, the hamster tubes, and he was on top of a hill though, and he had, like, made the hamster tubes and, like, led all the way down to a bucket so he could, like, put a piece of candy in there.
So he would shoot, like, a Snickers down.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty brilliant.
That's not bad, dude.
So I mean, that's the brightest idea I've seen. But yeah, how do you do it?
How do you do it?
You know?
I mean, people are technically be wearing masks, you know, Halloween masks.
Right.
So you already got that covered. I don't know, man. Do you think Denver's you think they're gonna ban it?
Hard to say. You know, man, I don't know. I don't want to speculate.
Yeah.
You know, because, like, my kids have been allowed to go to preschool. Mm-hmm. And it seems like that should work when it comes to school at large, but with it's there's too much that we don't know. And the other thing is, I can tell you what we pay for preschool. And so there's kind of a class element here, right? If you can afford this much for preschool, then you are probably pretty highly educated, and you probably have a lot of resources, and you probably have things that mitigate some of the risk when it comes to the virus. That's not true of everyone going to public school, right? And so understanding the class and the financial element here, you can't control for all of the variables that implies. And so in terms of trick-or-treating, I think it can be a little bit of a free-for-all. I don't know. I would be sad if it were gone. It wouldn't surprise me. I would get it. I like everything. I don't feel good about any decision I ever make right now. Right? Everything is fraught with peril.
It's like, go too far to the left or whatever. I mean, or to the right, you're gonna
Either
deal with
way,
yeah.
There's
teetering on the equilibrium of a life balance. So I think some people will do it. Some people will be out there trick-or-treating, and a lot of people won't. I think there's going to be less people doing it than will.
Yeah, I think it's
agreed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there'll be small communities that organize, little like block parties to do it. Who can come trick-or-treat here.
Like a social distancing kind of trick-or-treating, like circle, like in the middle of the street or whatever.
One way. Yeah.
You can make it fun. Maybe do a little cornhole with it, like toss a Twix over there, something like that.
Yeah, totally.
But I don't know. Everything's different, though. We're cruising up on Sober October. I'm not looking forward to it. I've looked forward to it the last 2 years. This is the first year I don't want to do it, but I have to.
Why do you have to?
That's a good question, John. Why do I have to? I don't know, because I feel like I do.
Kevin's a gung-ho type of guy, Once he gets his mind set on something, man, he's gung-ho. We're gonna get it done.
I really like that you say it gun-ho, not gung-ho, which is the actual phrase.
Oh, is it? I've been saying that wrong my whole life. Gung?
Yes. Gung-ho.
Gung-ho. I thought it was gun-ho.
No, it's not gun-ho.
I do like the adjustment you made, though.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I like how you kind of came up with pantomimes for it too. He's very gun-ho.
Yeah.
Well played.
Thank you. I didn't even know I was making a mistake there.
Yeah.
That's generally how it goes, man.
Yeah. No, there's a movie from 1983 called Gung-Ho. It's one of my favorites. It stars Michael Keaton and the guy who played Long Duck Dong in 16 Candles. It's about this Japanese auto company that comes to this small town factory in Pennsylvania, and they take it over and they run it like a Japanese factory. The American workers don't really handle it all that well. So George Wendt from Cheers is in it, and Clint what the hell is his name? Clint Howard, who's Ron Howard's brother, is in it. It's phenomenal. It's not phenomenal. It's a fun time movie.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Gung-Ho.
Gung-Ho.
An 80s movie.
Yeah.
Gung-Ho.
Yeah, Michael Keaton is in it at the height of his comedic powers.
I like Michael Keaton. I'm going to have to watch that.
Yeah, no, you'll dig that. I have it on DVD. You can borrow it.
Terrific.
I did not bring it with me.
What?
I didn't know it was going to come up.
You don't just carry around a case of your DVDs?
I didn't know you were going to call it Gun-Ho, Art.
I wonder how many other things. There's this bar in Aurora. It's called the Lucky Door. No, the famous door.
See, you always do that.
Yeah,
it's the famous door.
And I call it the Lucky Door. I do that with so many different things.
That's what makes it unique.
I don't know what's going on with that. But I do know that I got another Would You Rather here.
Oh, hell yeah.
So would you rather win 50 grand, all right, 50 grand, or have your best friend win 500 grand?
My best friend win 500 grand.
I'm going to take that immediately as well, because I feel like, the Beyond Blood thing, I'm going to get a little bit of a taste of it. Not that I'm trying to get, but, we're all bros, right? So if everyone's eating, spread the wealth.
Yeah, we're unanimous on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, because just the difference, is pretty phenomenal. And,
dude, that's 10 times the amount.
Yeah.
And so here's the other thing. I do fine. I booked a client today I'm not going to say nearly that amount, but I am going to say nearly that amount. So like over a certain amount of time, like I'm at a place in my career where I can make that happen. 500 grand is game changing for anyone, dude. Sure. Like no matter who you are, $500,000. Yeah, dude. Like no, like let my friend get that. Let my best friend get that. And I don't even care which friend. Pick one.
Yeah, I would agree 100%.
True.
You know, I'm playing the stock market. I've made about 38% return this year on swing trading. So I'm good with doing that. You know, 50 grand is what it is. I want you to get 500 grand, Art. That's what I want.
So it's going to Art?
Yep.
Wow. Well played.
He can have it.
I like it, man. I like this would you rather.
Just make sure to buy some better equipment.
Oh, no, that's all part of it, man. You know, you got to make investments and grow in life. And, you know, podcasting is like, you know, first and foremost, we do it because we love it. It's fun.
Absolutely.
It's fun. And actually, you gave us that advice, John, is to enjoy it, you know, and that you should do it first because you want to and it's fun to do. But I mean, you know, to go video and stuff, you know, we got to invest some money in it. And that's what, you know, hobbies are, is like you got to put time and money into it and fruit of the labor, man. Like every single time when we're doing the post edit on this stuff, like we're always cracking up and shit.
Great time.
Like looking at our dumb faces, like because we think we're stupid, and it's hilarious, man. It's a good time.
Yeah.
So yeah, give somebody else the money, man.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially if they're close. I mean, because there's something about giving without expecting to receive, man. There's something about that feeling like, you know, you help make that person, man. You help make them smile that time, at least. You know?
Oh, dude, and I so get that. Parts of my family, you don't do a favor, and let me just preface this by saying I don't identify with this philosophy at all. But there are elements of my family where if you do a favor for someone, you're doing it for credit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a favor until you get a thank you note or you get acknowledgement or you get something in return for it. And man, like, I don't need someone checking my work. Like, I don't care. Do it because you want to do it.
Yeah.
Do it because you care. Do it out of the goodness of your heart. Like, I've sent nice notes to people. So here's a fun exercise you guys should do. Go to the bottom of your text messages, right? Do you guys have iPhones?
I don't have iPhone. I have Android.
We're both on
Well,
Android. I mean, you can still scroll to the bottom.
Okay, it doesn't matter. It's so go to your last message, right? And just who is that person that you texted eons ago? Send them a nice note and just be like, "Hey, you popped in my head today. I really like whatever it is. Maybe you work together. Maybe they're a friend from high school or something." Just be like, hey, you passed into my consciousness. It was I thought about you. It's cool that we had our time together, or whatever this is, right? I'm making this up off the top of my head. Just send them a nice note.
You're making me feel good.
It falls out of the sky, dude. And for anyone receiving that, they're like, holy shit. Like, they go, like, what a gift. So just do that. You will feel amazing, even if they don't respond.
So kind of on the receiving end, something that I witnessed recently is with my girlfriend. This happened 3 times within a matter of like 4 or 5 weeks. Like old girlfriends of hers like reached out to her and said like, hey, you know, sorry that we fell out like we did. You know, you were always really cool. And she got like 3 of those messages within like 5 weeks. Then on the receiving end, she was like, man, this is so nice. And like people are,
nice,
you know,
gesture.
seeing that and feeling that. And it doesn't take much time and effort for you to do that. It's free to do it. You know, like why not just put a little bit of you know, what do you want to call it, and put it out there.
Just put some good into the world.
Dude,
I will wake up in the morning and like someone will have popped into my head, and I'll go, wow, why are they there? You know what? Doesn't matter. And I send them a note, and for whatever reason they popped in my head, assuming it's good, right?
Yeah.
Because there are people who pop in your head, and you're like, man, still fuck that guy, and that's fine. And still fuck them. That's fine. We have people like that in our lives. But if it's a good reason, if it's like, man, I haven't thought about that in eons, send them a note and remind them of that. Holy shit. Like, they don't expect that coming at all. And they feel great the rest of the day. And you feel good, too.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it, John. You know, you one of the segments we like to do at the end is we ask people what's one, you know, way you could better humanity or...
Oh, shit, really?
And I think that nails it.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
That nails it.
Dude, yeah, no. So that is such a simple thing. When someone pops in your head for a reason that you cannot explain, let them know.
That's beautiful.
Just do it. Just be like, you know, I remember we haven't talked in years. I really liked when we worked together, and I'm happy you were a part of my life for the time that you were in it. That means something to me, and I just wanted you to know. You will be surprised at what you get back.
Yeah.
So just continue to put good in the world.
I'm going to do that tomorrow. Maybe even after the podcast. I don't know.
Do it tonight.
You got me
man.
Inspired, John.
Do it tonight.
I'm going to do it tonight.
I know. I am. I'm a Pisces, and I get emotional and stuff, man. And I was one of those kids, like, you know, growing up, where I would like start saying something that I really meant. Like I would start getting a little teary eyed. And I
do that now. Look at me. Look at us both.
I know. I'm like looking at you, and you're looking at me. I'm like, no, you got dust in your eye. I'm like, no, you're crying,
dude.
But
I'm a crier. I don't give a fuck.
And that's breaking the barriers down, man. Because I feel like a modern man, a true modern man, is allowed to cry, man. We're allowed to show our emotions, and this whole like premise that men need to like, you know, take the beating and move on forward without, you know, showing emotions. That's all wrong, man.
That's outmoded bullshit, dude.
Yeah,
it's outmoded.
Yeah, it is. It's almost a programmed way. You know, push it down, deny your feelings, act like you have answers. It's just unnecessary.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. Wow.
It's you know, like Hollywood and all these different things, like and it's hard for women too. Like they have all these stereotypes that they need to try to fulfill, and it's like, no, you just gotta break society's, you know, chain, man. It's everything doesn't need to be cookie cutter. Not everyone's the same, and it's okay to be a little emotional.
Yeah,
it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, embrace it.
100%.
Embrace it. Man, you guys got me a little bit inspired over here. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like it's time for the word of the week.
Oh,
the word of the week, guys.
The word of the week.
Word of the week. Let's see what we got going on here. Sarah from Tampa Bay has sent us in the word of the week. Guys, the word of the week this week is pandiculation. Okay.
Okay.
Pandiculation is the word of the week, and it's a nice thing. You guys know what it is?
No.
I don't either, and I didn't know until I read.
I mean, I would take a guess, but I don't want to.
No, please.
Take a guess, John. It'll be
no,
fun.
I don't want to.
Okay, he doesn't want to.
We'll use it in a sentence, and then maybe you'll do it.
Tomorrow morning, I'm going to carry out a little bit of pandiculation before I go about my day.
I picture masturbation. I don't know why. That's wrong of me, but
that's not what it is.
I know it's not.
Okay. I'm gonna carry out a little bit of pandiculation.
Pandiculation.
Before I go on about my day tomorrow.
So pan. What would I mean?
This feels like pandemic related, but I'm likely wrong about that. Why don't you just lay it on me? Because look at me, I'm empty.
John's empty. We're getting close too. Pandiculation is a term for when you first wake up and your body naturally wants to stretch and yawn.
Oh,
that is the act of pandiculation. Is that stretching? You know, natural reaction you get when you first wake up.
Huh.
Wow, and I've never heard that term until today.
That was a good one, Sarah.
No, yeah, I've never heard that either. That is delightful.
That is pretty cool, man. I'm going to do a little pandiculation, I think.
I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some pandiculation.
Feels good,
And
man.
I'm also going to text, it looks like Trey is at the bottom of my text messages, so I'm going to send him a nice message after this podcast.
So, yeah, I mean, this was good, man. I mean, you know, John, your energy, man, like what you do,
We love you, man.
We do, man. And it's just like, that's the beauty of actually sitting down and having a conversation is you're gonna gain something that you won't even talking over the phone. Like it's just different, man. And you know,
shit. I mean, I haven't seen you guys in a year, right?
Yeah.
So we just sit down again, like we're old friends.
I love it.
Right? And no, that's what matters.
It does.
And so, like, anytime, like, anyone... So, on my birthday, I shared an Onion article. It's one of my favorite Onion articles of all time. And it's Sugar Ray thrilled to be playing in Man's Head. And so, like, the band Sugar Ray, this article was written in 2008 or something. It's like, we haven't done a live show in 2003. The fact that we're playing this guy's head, wow, what a thrill, right? The idea that I live in anyone's head at any one time is just so flattering. Anytime anyone kind of thinks of you or considers you, like I get an email from you guys out of the blue. I imagine it was probably you, Kevin, right?
I think it was both of us. I think we were sitting here at the pod. And
Okay,
we
well, so it came from the Discussion Combustion email.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go, all right, these guys thought of me. So, like, how flattering. Like, anytime anyone kind of thinks of you, it's like, dude, it means you matter. It means that someone cares enough to reach out to you. And the fact that you guys want me on my show, on your show, it's like, shit, okay, I will be there. I'm happy to be there. So that means something. So anytime that happens, I go, man, what a gift. So thank you for having me.
Hell yeah, man.
It's always love talking to you, man. We've looked up to you, as a podcaster. You've given us great advice. You never steered us wrong. We love your show. We love what you do. And, man, this is a great opportunity for you to plug your show.
Okay.
So tell our listeners where to go, man.
So John of All Trades, been going 6.5 years, 264 plus episodes.
Going strong.
Yeah. What episode are we here? 66?
66.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And so, dude, like, once you get above 50, I feel like that really makes a difference. Right, I'm doing my show. So 264 plus episodes. JohnofAllTrades.us, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, any of a billion podcatchers. Leave a rating, leave a review. Do that for Discussion Combustion podcast too. I'm doing my show. Social media, JOAT Pod, across platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Pinterest, and Instagram. And let me think. New episodes go up on Wednesdays. Episode previews go up on Mondays. We're pretty much every single week, and it's great people, dude. It's everyone from Wall Street guys to entrepreneurs to nonprofit guys to musicians to comedians to professional athletes. COVID has been just such a blessing. I had Ryan Spilborghs from the Colorado Rockies. I had Jake Kiley from the band Strung Out. I've had Eric Nussbaum, who wrote a great book about the Brooklyn Dodgers. It's been amazing, dude. And so I can't believe that I've done the show this long. I've tried to quit it 5 times. Like, literally at least 5 times.
I remember you telling us that a year ago.
Right. I haven't tried to quit it recently, which is good, I think.
That is good.
But there are times, I mean, you guys get it. Like, you have so much going on in your lives. You go, God. Like, and it's not the interview itself. Mm-hmm. It's not this part that we're doing right now that people are listening to.
This is the best part.
This is the best part. Yeah. This is the best part.
Yeah.
It's everything else that you go, oh, God, like, it's just weighing me down.
It does.
And so, like, it's not easy doing this when it's not your primary source of income.
Yeah.
Like, it will grind you down. But it's this part that keeps you coming back always.
Nailed it.
Which is why I cannot quit my show. So JohnofAllTrades.us, JOAT Pod across platforms. And you know what? It's a gift and a privilege and a pleasure to be on your guys' show. So thank you for having me.
I think you're a beautiful human being, man.
Thanks, Art. I think you are too. Kevin, that goes for you as well.
Thanks, brother,
yeah,
man. Thanks, I appreciate that, man. You're always
joke.
Always very kind. Like I said, we look up to you, man. We love what you do in this business and podcasting. Make it fun. Great guest. For our listeners, be sure to check out John of All Trades podcast. Mm-hmm. It is delightful. It's an easy listen. I put it on the morning with my coffee as I'm driving into work.
Great production too, man.
Thank you.
It's just outstanding, and we love it. And we really appreciate you being here, brother.
Thanks, guys. What a privilege. And you know what? It's Wednesday night. And it's better than your average Wednesday night, right?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful Wednesday night.
It's a beautiful place. Beautiful place for
beautiful
sure.
Place. Everybody, believe and achieve your goals. Know that if you can change your perspective on something, then you can change your reality. I know we covered that a couple times, but just take a minute to dive deep into your own thought process and maybe just figure out a way that you could change your viewpoint on something. Maybe something that's been bothering you, maybe something that you feel has been holding you back. Maybe just try to look at it from outside views. So believe and achieve changing your perspective. That's what I'm saying for this week.
Yep, get on in there and own it, guys. You guys are the best. We appreciate you coming back weekly. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you are just listening, head on over to the Discussion Combustion YouTube channel so you never miss an episode of Arthur and I. You can watch us drink a little beer and have a good time with people like John X over here. We got Louisa in the building next week. She's got that studio moving along. Excited to sit down and talk with her and see what kind of improvements and developments have happened along the way. It's going to be fun, man. We really appreciate you guys. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. DCPC Podcast on Twitter, Discussion Combustion, Instagram, Facebook. You'll find us everywhere. Patreon, teespring.com/DCPC for some shirts and some merch. Guys, that's all I got.
Thanks again, John.
Love you, John. You guys be good.